Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, as always. We have a loaded live show to get to as we are just a couple of days away from Sunday's matchup against the Chicago Bears. Both teams are looking to become 3-1, and I was joking with producer Patrick Seatman before the show. Might this be some of the worst 3-1 teams of all time if either one get there? You know what? I'm not going to say that for the Giants, but if the Bears get to 3-1, they might be the worst 3-1 team of all time. The chat is already going crazy. B. Malloy is already in there going crazy. He told me to start the show chant. And then JK, take your time, Marsh. You're a boss. Wow. Did that work? It did work. I saw you in the comments talking a little bit of smack. I said, Seeps, we got to get the show going. We got a loaded show, though. We got some rumors on Odell Beckham. We put a video out earlier on the channel. If you haven't checked it out, don't check it out right now. Check it out after the live stream. We also are going to talk about some Kenny Golladay trade destinations because Ian Rappaport put out an article the other day talking about the idea that the Giants could move on from Kenny Golladay. We'll break that down. We also have a game preview, Giants, Bears, and then we'll do a mailbag as always to close out the show and get your guys' questions and faces up on screen. Let's start the show with this, though. Who do you got this Sunday? Who's winning? Do you got the Giants? Do you got the Bears? Type CHI if you're rolling with the Bears. Type NYG if you're rolling for the Giants. If you're typing CHI, you're a fraud. But hey, it's a free country, and this is a free world. Well, it's not really a free world. That makes no sense. Type what you want. Corinne, what up? He said he dropped that pass on purpose. Who's he? Probably Golladay. Yeah, he's a scrub. Someone said Mr. NY Stadium says, nice T-shirt. You know, I was going to wear it last Monday night, but since we were undefeated when I was wearing the Brian Dable coach shirt, I said, you know what? I'm a superstitious guy. I'm not going to mess it up. So I didn't wear it. I was going to save this for Sunday, but I thought it was a good opportunity to bring it up on the channel, wear it today. I feel good wearing this shirt. Hopefully Kayvon Thibodeau plays good this Sunday. Got a lot of NYGs in the chat. Shout out to Antonio, Megan, Corinne, E, the Everyday Vapor, Blue City Empire Sports, my guy. What's going on, bro? B. Beloy says, NYG, I hate to say, though, the Bears my second favorite team. You can't have a second favorite team. You got one team and one team only. You either bleed Giants blue or you're going to bleed out. That's how I view it. B. Beloy says there were so many fives in the stadium. There were. Look, he's a fan favorite already. He's got to live up to the hype. He does. Not going to react too much to his first game in the NFL, coming off an MCL sprain, but didn't play all that well. Had that pass breakup on third down, which was big. I still expect him to be a really good football player as well as Evan Neal. I'll ask you this question because it hasn't happened so far this year, not one time. Will the Giants score a touchdown in the first half come Sunday? They didn't score one in week 1. They didn't score one in week 2. They didn't score a touchdown in week 3 in the first half. Will the Giants score a first half touchdown this week? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. You better score. You don't score a touchdown in the first half this week, you're not going to win. Look, it's time. It's time for Brian Dable. It's time for Mike Kafka. It's time for Daniel Jones, this offensive line, Saquon Barkley, maybe Kenny Golladay, maybe Kadarius Toney, maybe Wan'Dale Robinson. One of those guys has to score a freaking touchdown in the first half this week. You've got to get off to a fast start. We cannot continue to be the team that always tries to come from behind in the second half. I know Carroll said we're a second half team, but you can't be a second half team every freaking week. If you do, you're not going to be playing many football games once the weather gets colder. E, the Everyday Vapor says Barkley with the first TD. That would be freaking awesome. John Murdoch, what up, bro? A real one. He says yes. Fam says yes. Melinda says we have to. Melinda, I'm right there with you. I'm going to be pretty upset if we don't score a first half touchdown against the Chicago Bears, who have allowed the third most rushing yards of any team in the NFL so far this year. I'm expecting a big game from Saquon Barkley. Where are the real ones at, though? If you're a real one to New York Giants now, if you just bleed Giants blue, type real one in the comment section right now. As everyone, gets in and builds up and we let everybody, take their seats, get that push notification. Let's get the chat rate going. Let's have YouTube push this to more Giants fans. I want to get as many Giants fans as we can in this live stream. And the easiest way for everybody to help make that happen is typing real one in the comment section right now. The more comments we get, the more viewers we're going to get. It's just science. So shout out to Mr. Assassin, Jason, MB, Blue York Sports, John Murdoch, Justice, E the Everyday Vapor, David Rodriguez, Pierre Juan, Isaiah Wyatt, Fam, Melinda Martinez, Corinne, what up? Shout out to Philip, Mr. NY Stadium, BD4, Megan Smith, King Wolf, what's going on, homie? Art says, I think acquiring OBJ would even lure a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. If we get Odell Beckham and Lamar Jackson, that'd be pretty freaking sweet. Shout out to Game Freak. Shout out to Ralph Austin. Shout out to Eli, Isaiah Wyatt, Isaiah, B. Beloy, Kibble, 88 Trouble, Anthony. Let's go. B. Beloy says the only people I follow is this and Knicks Now. Mega real one. B. Beloy. I don't know how to say it. I can't really read. I'm going to be honest. I can't read. Shout out to Marcus. Shout out to Noah. Shout out to Josiah. The real ones are starting to pile in. Let me know, where are you watching from, though? Shout out your city. Shout out your state. Shout out your country. I don't really give a shit. Just shout out where you're watching from. I want to know where all the real ones are tuned in from. One of my favorite things about Giants Now is we got fans all over the world. That's a credit to you guys. Tony Williams. We got a Bears fan in the chat. And he's super chat. I'm going to be honest. We'll put it up on screen. We'll let the enemy inside enemy territory. The fact that a Bears fan sent the first super chat of the day is pretty upsetting. I'm not going to lie. The Bears Now viewers are infiltrating Giants Now. I need a real one to stand up and send a super chat in. How about this? Every super chat that comes in on today's show from Giants fans, we'll take a shot. Only Giants fans, though. Right now, and we're not going to be drinking because Tony Williams is a Bears fan. We cannot have our only super chat of the day come from a Bears fan. So one of the real ones, you know who you are. You just typed real one. You just typed real one. I need you to match Tony's Williams, who said Tony Williams energy. He says, Giants suck. Fields shows up. Bears win. Bear down. Look, I don't agree with any of that, but if you're going to super chat, I'll put you up on screen all day. I need a real one to super chat so we can get Tony Williams off the screen. How about this, though? Do you want to beat the Chicago Bears? If you do, I want you to like this video right now. We got 90 people watching and only 34 likes. It's unacceptable. Hit that like button. Let's get to 69 likes. I think that's doable. 69 likes. Hit that thumbs up icon. B. Baloli sends in a super chat. My guy, the realest of the real, a Giants Now subscriber and a New York Knicks Now subscriber. Real one, bro. This show is an everyday watch for me. That is mad love. Shout out to you, bro. Let's get the shots going. Let's turn this to a party. He said, yes, you got it right. So it's B. Baloli. I feel like I have to say it like that or I'm going to say it wrong. Why are there so many Bears fans in here? Guys, we are getting infiltrated by Bears Now viewers. B. Baloli, this one's for you. Matthew Peterson, that guy must have a terrible haircut. Hey, Marshy, bear down. Giants fans stink. Chicago 21-9? You think the Bears are going to score 21 points? Justin Fields hasn't even completed more than 21 passes this year. You're not scoring 21 points against this defense. Number 5, you better get used to that, Matthew Peterson, because he's going to be in the face of Justin Fields all day long. Anthony, my guy, we got some real ones answering the bell. We can't be out super chatted by Bears fans on our own channel. We can't let them come into our hometown. We can't let them come into our backyard and outdo us. If I got to go super chat from my own bank account, I'll do it. I'm not losing to the Bears this week. In subs, in likes, in super chats, and damn sure not on the football field. We are not losing to the Chicago Bears this week. Shout out to Anthony, Big Blue, all day, my guy. I appreciate you. And the real one, a real one, bleeds real one, Corinne with the $5 super chat. I hate the Bears. Love it. I hate the Bears as well. You know why I hate the Bears? Because that's who we play this week. Whoever we play this week, I freaking hate them. And I hate the Bears. We're drinking Bears tears right now. Let's ride. Every super chat that comes on the show today from a Giants fan, we'll take a shot. Because look, when did supercharging become a thing for YouTube? New to it, kind of. It's been a thing for a while. Yeah, it's been a thing for a while, B. Beloli. Corinne, Anthony, B. Beloli, thank you. Tony Williams, Matthew Peterson, piss off. Appreciate your money, though. I'll ask you guys this question, because there's been... Victor, you can absolutely do that. Let's actually all do that right now. Screw the Bears in the comment section right now. That's what Victor's saying. But there's been some rumors around the New York Giants and Odell Beckham Jr. He's been flirting on Twitter. He's been, I would say, what's the way I want to word this? He's been trolling Giants fans. He's been tempting them with a good time. He's been the guy saying, oh, I want to come back to the city. I want to do this. Oh, super chat. Let's ride. Shout out to John. Shout out to Pencilman. We'll get to the OBJ talk in a second. Shout out to John Murdoch. Just like B. Beloli, he is a definition of a real one because he watches Giants now and he watches Knicks now. John Murdoch, as you know, will be live on the Knicks channel. I think it's not going to be till about 5:30 today, the way this is going. But we'll get it going. We'll have a good show. We always do. John, this one's for you. Hope you're having a good week, my guy. Look, Giants got to win this week. Giants have to win this week. Pencilman with a $20 super chat. What's going on, brother? Bears suck. Barkley, 2 TDs, 155 yards rushing, and 55 yards receiving. I could see it. I honestly could, because the Bears... they have allowed the third most rushing yards of any team in the NFL so far through 3 weeks. The Giants, they need to take advantage of that. I want Saquon Barkley to have 25 touches, not just rushes. Can we get 18 rushes, 7 catches, 19 rushes, 6 catches? He needs to touch the ball 25 times this coming up Sunday. Let him eat, because Saquon Barkley is all the way back. That touchdown run against the Dallas Cowboys last week. Whoop! See ya. Do sign. Whoop! 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 Shout out to Berman. But look, he's back. He really is. The explosion, the first step, the speed, the getaway, for just like everything that Saquon Barkley had before he tore that ACL, he's back. He's that guy. I don't think did I take a shot for Pencilman? I don't know. If I did, I'm going to take another one because you sent in 20. I might even take another one after this. Remember, every super chat that comes in from a Giant fan today, we're going to take a shot. Because we've already got 3 super chats from Bears fans. But the Giants fans have answered the bell. And you guys right now, we're in the lead. Giants now is in the lead in super chats. I'll ask you this question, though, then we'll get to the show. Should the Giants sign Odell Beckham Jr.? Because there's been a lot of rumors coming up. Reportedly, Brian Dable was FaceTiming free agent wide receivers last week. There was reports that Odell Beckham was one of them. Odell Beckham went on Twitter and said he wanted to win a ring for the city. He said he wants to one day play for the New York Giants again. So I'll ask you, should the Giants sign, we'll go one sec. Should the Giants sign Odell Beckham, just so we can be done with this? Type OBJ if you think the Giants should sign him, or type no BJ, as in no BJ, for no, if you don't think the Giants should sign Odell Beckham Jr. It's not a play on words. It's like no BJ and OBJ. It absolutely is a play on words. If you know, you know. But Saquon Barkley, he was interviewed and it went viral on TikTok after the game on Monday night. He said, I actually just got off the phone with Odell. Actually, this was on Tuesday night. He said, actually, I just got off the phone with Odell last night, talking about Sterling Shepard following him tearing his ACL. He said, Odell, he's a different cat. Special, special player, especially with the ball in his hands. The things he can do on a football field, you know, how he's able to just light up a stadium, and I know that he's doing everything he can in his rehab to come back even better. I look forward to it. So hopefully, you never know, hopefully one day we're on the same team again. Look, I would love to see Odell Beckham and Saquon Barkley back on the same team. That right there would be a lot of fun. If you want him on the Giants, type OBJ. If you don't want OBJ, type no BJ. Shout out to Swad. What would you say here? Swade? We'll go Swade. If we're wrong, let me know in the chat. I'll call you whatever you want to be called because they send in a $10 super chat. Appreciate to you. It says, do a super chat raffle for the real ones to win a Kayvon Thibodeau jersey. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I think producer Brett's next door. Producer Brett, do you hear that? He might pop in here in a second. We got a question. Swade, I appreciate your $10 super chat, my guy. The Everyday Vapor just said, haha, I just realized what they said when they meant no BJ. Swade had a good idea. A super chat raffle for the real ones only the real ones, to win a Kayvon Thibodeau jersey. How much is a ticket? Swade, we'll talk about that, Swade. I think it's a good idea. Y'all like this one? I think this is a pretty damn cool t-shirt. Swade, shout out to you for the $10 super chat. You guys have lived up to the hype. B below, he says 25 a ticket. Okay. We'll talk with our vice president of live programming here at Chat Sports, Mitchell Renz. See, below, it's not about us making money. It's about giving you guys a t-shirt. It's pronounced right, Swade. So we're going with Swade. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Shots on me, shots on three. Let's ride. Every super chat that comes in today from a Giants fan, we will take a shot for that. And also, if you want a super chat with a question, we'll put it on the mailbag. We got a mailbag coming up at the end of the show. Use hashtag Giants in the comment section or super chat to get on the show. Shout out to King Wolf. He's already getting this question in. He's a real one. He knows what to do. Mr. NY Stadium is a real one. Not today. Not today. Wait. If someone sends in a $10 super chat right now, we prevent the Cowboy fan from infiltrating our live stream. I can't have the Cowboy fan come on our live stream, guys. He says if someone's Tom, come up here, but take the hat off. Don't appear as a Cowboy. Yes.
I got stuff though.
Tom, tell him what you just said.
$50 and Marshall can slap me. If not, I got props.
All right. That's the Cowboys report host. If you were watching with us on Monday night, he infiltrated our stream. He told all his little minions to come type F Marshy in the chat. It really upset me. I went home crying sad. And he just said we could slap him for a $50 super chat. But he said it has to be. He's got to show. It's got to be in the next 30 seconds. If not, he's going to infiltrate the studio and he's going to make us all look stupid. 30 seconds, someone sends in a $50 super chat. 10 and he won't come. Pause. 50 seconds. Look, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. Victor says, come on. $50 super chat. We get to slap Tom. If not, he's going to come on the show. On the show. He's going to come on the show. All right. Let me refresh the feed. Let's check the fax machine. It ain't there. It ain't there. All right. Here, I guess I have to take this because the real ones.
Blocking the quality.
Wait, I don't know it's not yellow. It's close.
It's not. Oh, I thought we had it. Man, go full screen. Do it.
I can't believe y'all are making this happen right now on my own show. I have to get embarrassed. It's all right. You guys usually hold it down.
Hey, partner, how about them Cowboys? Let's ride. Man, your blocking is as good as the actual Giants offensive line.
Not fun, guys.
Cowboys.
F Tom in the chat. Type F Tom in the chat right now. Everybody type F Tom in the chat because, look, I'm embarrassed. I cannot believe we lost to the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football with Cooper Rush. I will never get over that. It's one of the worst losses I've ever suffered as a Giant fan to Cooper frickin' Rush. F Tom in the chat. Everybody type it. F Easy Lopez says just slap him and run. Thing is, we work in the same building, so I'm not going to be able to run too far. But I do appreciate Disaster Clan sending in a $7 super chat. Shout out to you, an official real one. That is effort. That is effort. OBJ at 75% is better than KT and Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay combined. I mean, neither of those guys have done anything to make the Giants a better football team through 20 games of being on the Giants roster. Neither player has done anything to help the Giants win a football game. Brandon, you're 100% right. So Tom is a typical Cowboys fan, annoying as all get out. I have to work with him every day. And I walk into work every day and I just say, this dude just pisses me off. F Tom in the chat. Let's ride. All righty. We're about to get into preview first. We'll get into a Giants-Bears preview. Then we'll get into Kenny Golladay trade destinations. I actually owe a shot from Disaster. I didn't forget about you. Let me take a shot because you are a Giants fan. Every super chat that comes in on the show from a Giants fan, we'll take a shot because there were already multiple Bears fans super chatting, and that's just not acceptable. Whew. Fireball's fireballing right now, I'll tell you that much. All righty. Let's do it. Let's get into a preview. Giants, Cowboys, Sunday. Both teams have a chance to get to 3-1. What's going on, Giants fans? Before we get into this Giants versus Bears preview, look, it didn't work in week 3. I'm going to be honest with you. We said if you liked the video, we'd beat the Dallas Cowboys. It didn't work, but it worked in week 1 and it worked in week 2, and I like our chances this week. So if you want to go 3-1, if you want to beat the Chicago Bears, all you got to do right now is hit that thumbs up icon underneath the video, like this video right now. You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, we're going to go through my Giants versus Bears Week 4 preview. It's crazy. We're already in Week 4 of the NFL season. It is truly, truly flying by. We're going to go through the Giants injury report, the Bears injury report, and 5 keys to victory that I have for the New York Giants for them to get to 3-1 on the season going into Week 5. Game's going to be this upcoming Sunday, October 2nd. It's already October. That's crazy. It's my birthday month. The season's flying by. I already know I freaking said that. The Giants, they're 3.5-point favorites, and the total over-under is 39 points. If you want to bet on this game, do it with our proud sportsbook partner, BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code CHAT125 for a 125% deposit bonus. I think it's important to look at the first 3 games for the Chicago Bears. They beat the 49ers in week 1, 19-10. They lost to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football, 27-10. And then they beat the Houston Texans, 23-20. So they're 2-1, just like the New York Football Giants. One of these teams will be in 3-1, or maybe both of them will be 2-1-1 after the game coming up this Sunday. Let's take a look now at the Giants injury report coming out of practice on Wednesday afternoon. These are guys that did not participate in Wednesday's practice. Cordell Flott did not participate, dealing with that calf injury that he sustained. Nick McLeod, he's dealing with a hamstring injury. Wan'Dale Robinson is dealing with that knee injury. And Kadarius Toney still dealing with that hamstring. Jihad Ward is dealing with a knee injury now. And Leonard Williams is also dealing with an injury. Justin Lane and Aaron Robinson were also on the injury report, but they were limited participants. I'm expecting Aaron Robinson to be back this week following missing 2 games due to that appendectomy procedure that he underwent. Here's the Bears injury report. David Montgomery dealing with that ankle injury. Bears coach Matt Eberflus said he was day-to-day, but I spoke with our Bears Now insider, and he said he doesn't think Montgomery is going to play. Byron Pringle, he's not going to play. Velus Jones, Ryan Griffin, Jalen Johnson, I was told is questionable. Dane Cruikshank, Matthew Adams, and Roquan Smith are all on the injury report. The Bears are beat up just like the Giants, so it's going to be a good game this Sunday, no doubt about it. I'll ask you guys this question. Is this a must-win football game for the Giants this Sunday? Is this a must-win ball game? Do the Giants have to win this game? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think it's a must-win game if you have playoff aspirations. You go 3-1, because look, then you got the Packers, then you got the Ravens. Those are going to be really two tough games. Is this a must-win football game? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let's go through my keys to victory. How can the New York Giants beat the Chicago Bears? I think the biggest thing and the easiest way to make that happen is get pressure on Justin Fields, the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. He has not been good so far this season, but the offensive line for the Chicago Bears has been worse, and it might be worse than the New York Football Giants. Justin Fields has been sacked 10 times on 55 passing attempts. He's thrown the ball or dropped back to pass 55 times, and he's been sacked 10 of those times. Wink Martindale, you obviously didn't watch the preview last week. I said the keys to victory was to get pressure on Cooper Rush, and you would win the football game. We didn't do that, and we didn't win. I'm saying it again. If you get pressure on Justin Fields, he will fold, and you will win the football game because he will turn the football over. He's already done it 4 times this year. He's thrown 4 interceptions and completed just 51% of his passes for 297 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you put pressure on Justin Fields, he will fold like a lawn chair, and the Giants will win the football game. Make Justin Fields beat you. Stack the box, play man-to-man press coverage on the outside, get after the quarterback, make him deliver tight window throws, keep a spy on him because he can run. One of the most electrifying quarterbacks when he decides to tuck and run it. We know he has that ability. But if all you can do is win outside the pocket and win with your legs, you can't win in the NFL consistently. Force him into long third downs. Get pressure on him and make Justin Fields beat you with his arm. Justin Fields throws for 4 touchdowns because you were blitzing, you were bringing pressure, leaving your DBs in one-on-ones in the back end. They deserve to win. Take away their strength. Do not let them beat you with the ground game. Make them beat you with Justin Fields. Also, sub for Giants dubs. Hit that big red button. Subscribe to Giants Now because it's just math, guys. The more subscribers we pick up on the week, the more likely we're going to win the football game. We're trying to get to 14,000 subs on the channel. We're about 500 away. I want to get there by game day. So if you love the Giants and you're looking for a one-stop shop on YouTube that posts videos every single day, 7 videos a week, 2 live streams a week, subscribe, let's ride, lock us in, hit that big red button. Just like you got to get pressure on Justin Fields, you have to protect Daniel Jones because you didn't do that in week 3. He was pressured 25 times. Imagine being pressured on 25 throws in an NFL game. That's inexcusable. It's not acceptable. And part of the blame is on these guys up front. Honestly, a good chunk of the blame is these guys up front. Ben Bredesen, John Feliciano, Mark Lewinsky, and Evan Neal all have to be better. They gave up 25 pressures to Dallas. And Daniel Jones has been sacked 13 times this season. That is the 3rd most of any quarterback so far this season. If you give Daniel Jones time to throw, he will make some plays. I know he's not the biggest gamer. I know he's not the guy that's always going to deliver. I know he's not a guy that's always going to make the big plays. But he has that potential. And he's played, I would say, solid so far this year. 64% completion percentage, that's good. 560 yards through 3 games, a little bit low. 3 touchdowns through 3 games, and he has 2 interceptions. One of those was absolutely brutal in week 1, looking for Saquon Barkley in the end zone. Should have never made that pass. The second one was on the last play of week 3 against the Dallas Cowboys. He threw a timing route, a bang 8 post route to David Sills, and Sills fell down. Not Daniel Jones' fault. He has played good enough for the Giants to be 3-0, but they're not. They're 2-1. He has to play good enough for the Giants to win the football game this week. Protect him, and I really do think the Giants can win this ball game. I'll ask you, though, who do you got winning this game? Which team do you have coming out 3-1 after Sunday's grudge match? Type CHI if you're rolling with the Chicago Bears, or if you think the New York Football Giants are going to win and get to 3-1, type NYG in the comments right now. This might be the biggest key of them all. Feed Saquon Barkley. Get him the football at any opportunity you can do so. Because 1, he's back. 2, he's really back. And 3, the Chicago Bears run defense is cheeks. They have allowed 157 yards allowed per game, which is the 3rd most in the NFL. They are allowing 157 rushing yards per game, the 3rd most in the NFL. You have to feed Saquon Barkley. He has to be the focal point of this offense's attack come Sunday. Get him the ball in the run game. Get him the ball in the pass game. Just let Saquon Barkley go to work, because he's done that through 3 weeks of the season so far. 55 carries, 317 rushing yards, 6.0 yards per carry. He's averaging over 100 yards per contest. He's averaging over 6 yards per carry. He has 2 rushing touchdowns, and he's been a factor in the receiving game. 13 receptions for 91 yards. You have to find a way to get Saquon Barkley the ball. I'd like to see 25 total touches for Saquon. That includes rushes and receptions. Get this guy the ball. Let him work. He's a superstar, probably the only superstar outside of Andrew Thomas we have on this offense. Feed Saquon Barkley. Feed Saquon Barkley. You want to win the football game? Feed Saquon Barkley. Let's show Saquon some love, though, because a lot of people, even me, we flirted with the idea that the Giants should trade him in the offseason. But I want everyone that ever hated on Saquon, that ever said anything bad about him, you have a chance right now to right your wrongs. Type 26 in the comments section. Show Saquon Barkley some love. Because a lot of people, they sold their Saquon Barkley stock after last season. I held on to some shares, and now I'm cashing in big. Type 26 in the comments. Let's let Saquon feel the love from the real ones over at Giants Now. Another big key. The wide receivers have to step up. Because in week 1, week 2, and week 3, they have not stepped up, and they have let Daniel Jones down time and time again. And when you look at this depth chart, you see a lot of people that are hurt. Sterling Shepard, hurt, out for the season. Kadarius Toney, hurt, didn't practice on Wednesday. Wan'Dale Robinson, hurt, didn't practice on Wednesday. So you got 4 healthy guys. And Kenny Golladay, Richie James, David Sills, and Darius Slayton. Not a good wide receiver core. And this next graphic is just terrible. The fact that Richie James is the leading wide receiver, the leading healthy wide receiver for the New York Giants after 3 games, it's a joke. 14 receptions for 146 yards. I don't mean to disrespect Richie James. He's played well. He's played above expectation. He's come in and controlled what he can control. But he cannot be your best wide receiver in the NFL if you want to be a high-powered offense. Something the Giants' offense is not right now. David Sills, 5 receptions for 57 yards. Kenny Golladay is cheeks. 2 receptions for 22 yards. And Wan'Dale Robinson, who hasn't played in 11 quarters. Wan'Dale Robinson hasn't played in 11 quarters. And he's 4th on the Giants with 1 reception for 5 yards. One of these guys has to step up Sunday. Who's it going to be? I don't know. Somebody just got to step the heck up, or the Giants aren't going to be looking too good on offense yet again. I want to give a shout out to today's sportsbook partner, BetUS. When you go to chatsports.com/bet and use this promo code chat125, they're going to hook you guys up with a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 into your account when you go to chatsports.com/bet and use that promo code chat125. They're going to give you a free $125. Bet on the Giants. They're 3.5-point favorites. I like them to win. I like them to cover. I'm 2-1 on betting on the Giants this year. I'm looking to get to 3-1. I'm betting on the Giants to win. Do the same. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code chat125. Just like we have to feed Saquon Barkley, the Chicago Bears are going to run the football. And you have to stop the run this week if you want to win the football game. You have to stop the run. You didn't do that last week against the Dallas Cowboys, and that's why you lost. You also got tore up by Cooper Rush. But these are the rushing leaders for the Chicago Bears. They run the ball a whole lot. 33 carries for Khalil Herbert, 35 carries for David Montgomery, and 27 carries for Justin Fields. They will use him as a running back. Look, Dallas last week rushed for 176 yards against the New York Giants. You let the Chicago Bears run for 176, you're not going to win the game. Khalil Herbert's probably going to get the nod as the lead back. Sounds like Montgomery's still dealing with that lower leg injury. He's questionable. Our Bears Now host said that he's not expected to play, but I'm not going to rule it out. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. But you have to stop the run if you want to beat the Chicago Bears come this Sunday. Alert to all the real ones. You know what we do every single preview, but we only do it at the end of the show because that's when the real ones stay locked in till the end of the video. Predict the score. Giants, Bears. Predict the score. You got to predict the winner. If you are the first person to predict the winner and the correct score without editing your comment, without multiple comments, without any of that shiesty shit. Don't be weird. This is a deal for the real ones. I know the real ones don't do the weird stuff. So the first person to predict the score with the correct winner, I will personally Venmo you $25. So get active right now in the comments. Predict the score down below. Let's ride. How are we feeling? Can the Giants win this football game? I think they can. I think they have to. 3.5-point favorites at home against a terrible offense, a terrible offensive line, a terrible run defense. You got to win the football game, Seeps.
The fact that Justin Fields has 297 yards passing through 3 games,
that's god-awful.
That's awful.
He is not a good quarterback. He's just not. I think we made this analogy before. If all you can do is win, make plays on the run, make plays outside the pocket, that's called gravy. That's the extra stuff. You got to be able to win from the pocket. You can't have you can have a good steak without gravy, but you can't have good gravy without a steak.
Or this, you can't just eat icing when you're eating a cake. You got to have the cake,
yeah,
and the icing makes the cake. But if you eat a bunch of icing, you're going to get sick to your stomach.
And you can have a good cake without icing. Look at producer Seeps bringing in the great metaphor, simile. I don't know. I didn't pay attention in school like that. I see a lot of people, Melinda and Corinne, showing some love in the chat. They're saying 21-14. Okay. I see the Giants kicking a couple field goals. I don't know if we score 3 touchdowns. I probably should have did a prediction in the video. Give me the Giants. Let's go Giants 20, Bears 17. Bears 16. 16. Giants 20, Bears 16. So that means the Bears score 1 touchdown and 4 field goals, right? No? 12? No. 3 field goals. Yes. Good job, Seeps. I'm bad at math. Yes. So I think 20-16. Giants score 2 touchdowns. They kick 2 field goals. The Bears score a touchdown. They kick 3 field goals. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but there's opportunities to score, and you have to. I'm saying Giants 20, Bears 16. I think it's going to happen. Maybe I'll Venmo myself $25.
So you got the under in this game too.
Was the under 39?
I think it was 43.
43. Let me double check. I got it pulled up right here. It is. We had the graph. 39.5.
Okay.
39.5. So I'm going under. Jeez, under on 39.5. I sound like a loser. But that's what I'll go. I'll go 20-16. Maybe we get 23-16. I don't know. You got to win this freaking game, though. You got to win the game. 100%. Shout out to all 158 people watching. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon. We got 2 more segments to get to. We're going to go to Kenny Golladay trade destinations as the Kenny Golladay trade rumors are really starting to heat up. We'll break those down, and then we'll get to a mailbag. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up icon, what are you doing? Do it right now. Hit that thumbs up icon if you want to beat the Bears. And let's get into a – was that the door? No? Okay. Let's get into a Kenny Golladay trade destinations video right now. What up, Giants fans? In today's show, we're going to go through some trade destinations for Kenny Golladay because the rumors are heating up. Ian Rappaport talked about it, so we're going to talk about it on today's show. Should the Giants trade Kenny Golladay, or should they keep him? I want to hear from you all. Type T for trade, type K for keep. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Kenny Golladay trade destinations are the focus of today's show. He has not lived up to the hype after signing that 4-year, $70+ million contract back in 2021 NFL free agency. It hasn't worked out. He complained about not playing a lot in week 2, got his chance on primetime, Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys, an NFC showdown. And he didn't show up. He flopped. Dropped 2 passes, dropped a big 4th down to close out the first half, dropped a huge 3rd down late in the game. Doesn't have a good attitude. I don't think he's a guy I want on this football team. And I think Joe Schoen needs to set a precedent that you have to earn the right to play for the New York Giants. He's a new GM. He's talked about culture. How about you set the culture? Move on from him because he has not earned the right to be a New York Giant. Here's what the cap would look like. And we have some quotes from Rappaport that we'll go to that break it down a little bit better. But if the Giants are able to trade Kenny Golladay this year, they save about $13 million. The thing is, if the Giants were to trade Kenny Golladay, I believe they would have to eat all of the money this year. But if you do trade him and eat that $13 million, you save $11.2 million next year compared to roughly about $6.7 million if you cut him after this year. So it's more of a cap-friendly deal if the Giants are able to trade him. So let's break it down. And let's actually hear from Ian Rappaport on what he said the financials would be if the Giants look to move on from Kenny Golladay. He said, Golladay had $10 million of his $17.75 million in 2022 salary fully guaranteed at signing. But an additional $4.5 million of it became fully guaranteed on the first day of the 2022 league year, which meant the Giants didn't have an opportunity to release him prior to $14.5 million being fully guaranteed. The timing of the additional $4.5 million guaranteed is extremely rare. Typically, team structure guarantees to become fully guaranteed on the 3rd or 5th day of the league year, so the team has an opportunity to release an underperforming player prior to the guarantees kicking in. In Galladay's case, not only did that $4.5 million guaranteed kick in on the first day of the league year, but an additional $3 million of the 2022 salary and $4.5 million of 2023 salary became fully guaranteed on the 3rd day of the 2022 league year. The Giants may have to look to move on from Golladay with only $10 million guaranteed, but they didn't have that opportunity as it became $14.5 million fully guaranteed beforehand, so they kept him. What's next? The Giants will be on the hook for $40 million unless they can find a trade partner. If they do one, that new team would take on whatever salary is left this year and $4.5 million guaranteed next year. I want everyone right now to type "Thanks, Dave Gettleman" in the comment section. Let's thank our guy, Dave Gettleman, for issuing one of the worst contracts ever to Kenny Golladay in free agency. Let's all type "Thanks, Dave Gettleman" in the comments right now. Let's get to my 4 trade destinations for for Kenny Golladay. And at the top of the list, I have the Chicago Bears. Why? Because they have a young quarterback. They need to surround him with some weapons. I know Kenny Golladay hasn't been a weapon for the Giants, but sometimes the receiver needs a change of scenery. And right now, the Bears, they could use anything at wide receiver. Because these are their if you thought the Giants wide receivers sucked, the Bears wide receivers are worse. These are their top 3 receiving leaders so far through the season. Equinemius St. Brown, 4 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. He's solid. Dante Pettis, the Giants cut him. That's how bad he is. He has a reception, 1 catch for 51 yards and a touchdown. And they have Darnell Mooney, who was supposed to be the next guy to get paid $20 million. Thing is, he's not that guy. He's not. 4 grabs for 27 yards. The Bears wide receiver core, it just ain't it. It might be worse than the New York Football Giants. And sometimes a young quarterback could use a big target like Kenny Golladay. You got to give Justin Fields some weapons. If you want to win in the NFL with a young quarterback, you got to give him weapons. Giants, they haven't done that with Daniel Jones, and that's why they haven't been winning many football games. Maybe he could be better for the Bears. Maybe he could help out a struggling quarterback like Justin Fields. I don't know. I think it makes some sense for the Bears because they're not very good at receiver, and they have some salary cap space coming up at the end of this season, so they could take on that big cap hit coming up. Maybe it's a trade and a restructure, something along those lines. I'll ask you guys this question, though. Because like Ian Rappaport said, the Giants are going to be on the hook for $40 million guaranteed unless they trade Kenny Golladay. So would you include a draft pick to trade Kenny Golladay? Like, let's say a 5th-round pick and Kenny Golladay for a 6th-round pick. Would you make that type of trade? Type Y for yes, or you can go down and type N for no. What about the Green Bay Packers as a potential Kenny Golladay trade destination? Aaron Rodgers, we all know he doesn't like working with young receivers. And right now, that's what the Green Bay Packers have. They have a bunch of young wide receivers. Romeo Doubs, young. Allen Lazard, young. Christian Watson, young. They got a vet in Randall Cobb, but Randall Cobb is past his prime. Romeo Doubs had a good game this past week on the season. He has 14 grabs for $137 and a touchdown. Randall Cobb has 7 grabs for 108 yards. Allen Lazard has 2 touchdowns, 6 grabs, 58 yards. And Christian Watson had that big drop in week 1, dropped an 80-yard touchdown wide open, and now he has 5 grabs for 43 yards. Look, the Packers are in win-now mode. When you have a quarterback that old, in his prime, he's trying to win championships. And so is that roster, and so is that team. Could Kenny Golladay be a person that goes and fits with Aaron Rodgers? I think he could. Look, it sucked to see him go to a team like the Packers and a good quarterback turns him into that same wide receiver. I honestly don't know if he's got that much juice left in the tank, but the Packers are in win-now mode. They need a wide receiver. I think it makes sense for the Packers to take a look at a trade for Kenny Golladay. Look, if Kenny Golladay gets traded, we're going to be turning up. We're going to have a party here on New York Giants Now. I'll tell you that much. We'll go live, no doubt about it, if Kenny Golladay gets traded. So subscribe and make sure your notifications are turned on. Hit that bell icon right underneath the video and select all for your notifications so you get notified every single time we put out a video. I never want you guys to miss a video. So hit that big red button, turn on your notifications, and lock us in for the rest of the season. Another trade destination for Kenny Golladay. What about the Indianapolis Colts? Just like the Packers, just like the Bears, their wide receiving core, it sucks. Michael Pittman is a solid wide receiver. I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 just yet. I think he has the potential to be a wide receiver 1 coming up, but he has 17 catches for 193 yards and a touchdown. Those are good numbers, no doubt about it. Ashton Dulin, 9 receptions for 132 yards. Alec Pierce, the rookie, has 3 grabs for 61 yards. And Michael Strahan, not Strahan, Michael Strahan, I believe is his name, has 3 grabs for 59 yards. The Colts are trying to win now. You make a trade for Matt Ryan. You do everything they did on the offensive line. You add some players in the secondary like Stephon Gilmore. The Colts are trying to win now. And could a piece like Kenny Golladay put him over the top? You got to have a number 1 wide receiver in this league. I don't know if Galladay's a number 1 wide receiver. He was at one point, but could he be that big-bodied receiver on the opposite side of Michael Pittman for Matt Ryan to just let it loose and let it fly and throw it to a big body? I think the Colts are an ideal landing spot for a guy like Kenny Golladay. The Giants are rocking these jerseys this Sunday. You cannot lose in these jerseys. These are so freaking swaggy. We got Saquon. We got Daniel Jones. We got Kadarius Toney. We got Xavier McKinney. If I had to buy any of those jerseys, I already got a Saquon Barkley one. I would buy an Xavier McKinney one. I love Xavier McKinney. Get your jersey, though, today. Chatsports.com/Giants Throwback. That's chatsports.com/Giants Throwback. Put that in your browser. It'll put you right on the page where you need to buy these jerseys. You go to any other link, you're not going to get the deal. You got to go to chatsports.com/Giants Throwback. I'll put that link in the comments and description of today's show. The 4th and final Kenny Golladay destination that we cooked up on today's show. What about the Cleveland Browns? Look, these are probably the bottom 4 wide receiver cores in the NFL. And the Giants are probably right there with all these teams. The Browns, though, they have a number 1 wide receiver. And his name's Amari Cooper, and he's been damn good so far through 3 weeks. 19 grabs for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. But after that, they don't have a single wide receiver that's topped more than 100 yards. And then after Donovan Peoples-Jones, they don't have another wide receiver that has more than 20 yards on the season. So they could use another receiver. Help out a guy like Jacoby Brissett, who's still trying to find his footing with the Browns. He's looked pretty good so far. But maybe when Deshaun Watson comes back, they want to get another wide receiver. And the Browns, they have the cap space to absorb Kenny Golladay in a trade. The Browns have $37 million in salary cap space right now. So it would be an easy transition for them to absorb that type of money. I think it makes sense for all of the teams we mentioned. But I think the Browns could be a sneaky team to go and trade for Golladay. Big body receiver. Like we've talked about Golladay. We know who he is at this point. But I think all these teams could use another wide receiver. I'll leave it up to you, though. What's the most likely Kenny Golladay trade destination? If you had to pick any of these teams, which one do you think Golladay would be most likely traded to? Type CLE for the Browns, type IND for the Colts, type CHI for the Bears, or type GB for the Green Bay Packers. If I had to say, I'd go with the Browns, then I would go with the Packers, then the Colts, then probably the Bears. But I want to hear from you. Let me know. Where do you think Kenny Golladay would get traded? Answer in the comment section. We'll give you a shout out. Mr. Assassin says Browns. Suede says Browns. Pierre says Browns. Samuel says Browns. Sierra says Indy or Chicago. John and Rosario Guzzo. What up, Rosario? They say the Browns. Yeah, I think the Browns make a lot of sense. They have the most cap space to absorb a guy like Kenny Golladay. I don't know the chances of Golladay being traded, but I thought that was a pretty cool segment. We do have a mailbag coming up. That's how we're going to wrap today's show up, with a mailbag. So get your questions in. I know some people got some questions in earlier. What up, Rosario? Use hashtag Giants to get on the mailbag. I'll answer your question up on screen. We'll do about 10, 12 minutes. But if you want to guarantee your question to get up on screen, you got to super chat. All super chats get up on the stream. And look, a couple Bears fans super chatted earlier, and that really pissed me the hell off. And then you guys answered. You guys answered, and you shut up the Bears fans. None of them have super chatted since. Every super chat that comes in during this mailbag, I will take a shot. How about that? Every super chat, it could be for $1, 99 cents, $2, $5, whatever it is. Every super chat that comes on in this mailbag, I'll do a shot after the video for you guys. Shout out to Mr. Assassin getting a question in. Shout out to Pierre Juan getting a question in. How are we looking on questions, Seeps? All righty. Look, the line's getting a little long, I heard, so you may have to super chat to make sure your question gets up on screen. But let's do it. Let's get into a Giants mailbag right now. What up, Giants fans? I'm your host, Marshall Green, and you're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We're about to get into a mailbag, which aired on our live show. It goes down every single Wednesday. So turn your notifications on so next time we go live, you can join the party. Because look, there's only one way to make sure your question gets on the show. You got to be a subscriber. So go down right now, hit that big red button, and lock us in. Shout out to King Wolf, a real one. He says, sign Cole Beasley from the Bucs practice squad. The Giants have talked to Cole Beasley. There was rumors that the Giants offered Cole Beasley a one-year veteran minimum contract, but he took that deal with the Tampa Bay Bucs. But he's on the practice squad. But some people will say, Marshall, he played this past Sunday. He's still on the practice squad. You can be elevated from the practice squad as a game day call-up 3 times before you have to be elevated to the active roster, just like Fabian Morrow, just like Tony Jefferson for the Giants. They've been called up twice. If they get called up a 3rd time, then the Giants will either have to cut him from the practice squad or add him to the official roster. That's what the Bucs did with Cole Beasley. I'd be all in the camp of signing Cole Beasley, but the only way the Giants are going to sign a wide receiver is if they do it for the veteran minimum. He already turned that deal down from the Giants. Maybe you call him again. Say, look, we're giving you an active roster spot. The Bucs are not. I think he'd be a good fit. He knows the Brian Daboll offense. He spent time in Buffalo. I think it's a good idea, King Wolf. I'd definitely ring that phone again. I'll ask all the Giants fans right now, though. Should the Giants sign Cole Beasley? Type S for sign, or you can go down and type P for pass. Shout out to Alan. He says, I've been seeing a bunch of talking heads talking about trading Saquon Barkley at the trade deadline. Do you think they should do it? No. I do not think the Giants should trade Saquon Barkley. I get the idea and rationale behind it, right? Like, he's a running back. He's on an expiring deal. The Giants aren't ready to compete now. They're probably not going to be ready to compete next year. So at what age is Saquon Barkley going to fall off a cliff? I get all that. But you cannot trade Saquon Barkley. He's the heartbeat of this team. He is someone that's given his all to this team. He's someone that worked hard, got back from an ACL, and right now, he's the best football player on your team next to Andrew Thomas. You cannot trade him. You cannot do that to your fan base. You do not get better in this league by trading proven talent. You don't get better like that. I understand why some people may say it, but Alan, I cannot get behind the idea that the Giants should trade Saquon Barkley. This is a trade idea I saw on the internet, though. The Giants, they get a 2023 first-round pick from the Bills, and the Bills get Saquon Barkley. So I'll ask you guys this question. Would you make this trade? Would you trade Saquon Barkley for a first-round pick? Would you make the trade on screen? I'm typing my D for decline. I wouldn't do it. But let me know what you think. Type A for accept if you would make this trade, or you can go down and type D for decline if you wouldn't. I'm really curious where all people stand. I say no way, no how. I'm not trading Barkley, but I want to hear from you. Type A for accept, or you can go down and type D for decline. Mr. Assassin, a legend, do you think Slayton will get his shot and maybe prove himself? This is the week where Darius Slayton's going to get some reps. If Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson don't play again this week, he has to play because the Giants only have 4 healthy wide receivers in Kenny Golladay, Darius Slayton, Richie James, and David Sills. You're going to have to play him. I would not be surprised if Darius Slayton catches a touchdown. He's that type of fast. He has the ability to take the top off the defense. I'm not the biggest Darius Slayton guy because he drops a lot of passes, and I don't think you should be in the NFL if you can't catch the football. But he has the speed that makes you respect him on the outside, and he can run behind people. So, yes, I think he's going to get a shot, and he's got no other choice but to prove himself. Well, the Giants are going to look at other options to go and, beef up that wide receiver room. I definitely think Slayton gets a shot this week to, produce for the Giants. Mr. NY Stadium, BD4, do you feel a little disappointed Kayvon Thibodeau did not get a sack? I don't feel disappointed at all. First game, coming off an MCL sprain, played 37 snaps. He had a big play, guys. On third down, he batted a pass down. That's the same thing as a sack, in my opinion, because you know what it did? It got the Giants off the field on third down. I know it doesn't go down in the stat sheet. I know you can't point to your friend and say, look, he had a batted down pass on third down, but that's a big play. You got your team off the field. It might as well count as a pressure. Does he need to make more plays? No doubt about it. Does he need to be a bigger impact player in the run game? No doubt about it. But I am not worried 1 inch or 1 shred about Kayvon Thibodeau. I like him this week to get some pressure on Justin Fields because that Bears offensive line, it's not a good unit. Jessica Lampert, how do you think Adoree Jackson has done so far replacing Bradbury, and how do you feel about X-Man? I thought Adoree Jackson has played great football. He got beat on that CeeDee Lamb touchdown, the one-on-one fade ball, but honestly, that was just a great throw by Cooper Rush. It forced CeeDee Lamb to make a one-handed catch. Look, corners are going to get scored on. It's going to happen. But I like how he's played this year. I thought he's been around the football. I thought he's been a good tackler. I think he's done a very good job of replacing James Bradbury. And I thought the X-Man has been a freaking baller. I love what he does. He can attack the passer. He can play as a box safety. He can play a little bit of nickel corner. He can play a free safety. He can play strong safety. Xavier McKinney is one of the best safeties in the NFL. I'm a big fan of his. I'm glad he's a New York Football Giant. He's played great. So is Adoree Jackson. Really do this, 55. Is Kadarius Toney a bust? A bust? No, it's too soon to call anybody a bust. But he hasn't lived up to being a first-round pick. He hasn't made the Giants better. He hasn't done anything to make the Giants better. I'm not calling him a bust, though. It's too much. It's too soon. Look, we've seen the talent. Go back to the Cowboys game last year. Am I frustrated he's hurt? Yes. Am I frustrated? He just always finds a way to be on the injury report. Yes. Am I a little ticked off? Am I a little annoyed? No doubt. But you know why? Because I really think this guy can be special. I really do. But I question if he wants to be special. I know you can't control if you're hurt or not, but man, you got to find a way to get out on the football field and play every single week. He hasn't done that. Hasn't scored a touchdown. Through 20 games as being a Giant, he hasn't scored. Has he lived up to the hype? No. Is he a bust? No. But I'll leave it up to you. Not just a one-way conversation. I like to take the pulse of all Giants fans. Is Kadarius Toney a bust? Type B for he's a bust, or if you think it's too soon, you can type T for too soon. Corinne, what up? With all the turf noise going on, do you think it's time for a field surface? Yes. There's no reason that any team, any stadium in the NFL should be playing on turf. What'd the Broncos just sell for? $4 billion? Every team in the NFL is worth at least $1 billion. You're telling me you can't get a grass field and make it playable every single week of the season? Stop being freaking cheap. You're paying these players so much money. And paying these players creates revenue for fans and jersey sales and ticket sales. You want your best players to play. You have a 27% higher chance of injuring a lower leg extremity on the turf. Why would you not go to grass? It's going to help you make more money. It's going to keep players like Sterling Shepard healthy. It's going to keep players like Saquon Barkley healthy, like Odell Beckham healthy, like Kayvon Thibodeau, like Leonard Williams, like Andrew Thomas. As an owner, you should be doing everything you can to keep your players healthy. If that means switching to grass, switch to frickin' grass. A lot of them complain about because they have concerts and events there. How about you do this? You take the grass out, and when an event is there, you roll in some turf. Shimmy. Should the Giants re-sign Saquon Barkley? I love him so much I want it, but is it best for the team? Great question. I don't think you should pay running backs big money, but I think Saquon Barkley is more than a running back. He's a playmaker. He's a weapon. There's not a lot of running backs that could do what Saquon Barkley can do. I wouldn't pay him what Ezekiel Elliott got paid, but yes, I would sign Saquon Barkley because he makes this football team better. You don't get better by letting good players walk in free agency. Can you sign him to a similar deal that Nick Chubb signed? 3 years, $36 million. That's where I would try to go. Maybe a little bit higher. But yes, I would bring back Saquon Barkley, one of the best players on this team. Got to keep the good players in the building if you want to be good. Do you love the Giants? Do you bleed Giants blue? Do you love rooting for this team, win or lose? Do you wake up every Sunday like it's my favorite day of the week because I get to watch the Giants play football? If you do, if you check any of those boxes, I want you to hit the like button right now, or hit that sub button, excuse me. You love the Giants, you bleed Giants blue, and you're looking for a one-stop shop on YouTube, hit that sub button right now. Rosario Guzzo, do you think the Giants are in the right direction with a good offseason for you? Do you think they could be a playoff team next year? I think what two Monday nights showed us was that the Giants still have some holes at a lot of roster spots. They got to get better at guard. They got to get better at center. They need a number one wide receiver. They got to get better on the interior defensive line. They have to get an elite off-ball linebacker. I know that was a lot of positions I just named, but I do think the Giants could compete next year for a playoff spot. You got to figure out your quarterback, though. Is Daniel Jones the guy? I don't know. I don't think he is. But look, I thought he's played decent through 3 weeks. I was really impressed with the way he played. Really impressed with the way he played in week 3. I think they are in the right direction. I trust Joe Shane, and I trust Brian Dable. Rosario Guzzo, great question, as always. Thanks for tuning in, my guy. I want to give a shout-out to today's proud sportsbook partner and Chat Sports' proud sportsbook partner, BetUS. When you go to chatsports.com/bet, right there, and use the promo code CHAT125, right there, they're going to hook you guys up with a 125% deposit bonus. It's really easy. Go to chatsports.com/bet, plug that into your browser, and just use the promo code CHAT125. Put some money into your account. They'll match it with a 125% deposit bonus. Bet on the Giants, bet on the Yankees, bet on the Mets, bet on the Knicks. Just make some freaking money. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125. Timothy, should the Giants place the franchise tag on Saquon Barkley. I think it's a great idea. If you can't agree to a deal with Saquon Barkley on long term, I think it's a great idea to franchise tag him because it's a 1-year deal. You don't get a long-term risk by doing that. The franchise tag for Saquon Barkley is estimated to be $12.6 million. I think that's a good deal. It's a steal. It's a lot of guaranteed money. A $12.6 million cap hit is a lot for a running back. But it kind of protects you in the long term, right? Because I know some people are scared of paying a running back big-time money because injuries and their career's like this. And then, like that. That's how it happens with a running back. But I think the the franchise tag is definitely in play for Barkley. If you can't agree to a long-term deal, I would absolutely franchise tag him. Last question from Adam. Giants should call Will Fuller. Oh. I don't mind it. He's a guy that can run. He's fast. But, just like Sterling Shepard, just like Kadarius Toney, and just like Wan'Dale Robinson right now, Will Fuller is always hurt. Can we afford to go sign another wide receiver that's always hurt? Is he a good football player? No doubt about it. But he's always hurt. Look, I don't expect the Giants to go out and sign a wide receiver unless it's for the veteran minimum. I don't think Will Fuller would come and play for the veteran minimum. But if he would, I'd call him. I'd talk to him. I'd work him out. I'd have him go through a physical, see where his body's at, because when your wide receiver leader through 3 weeks in the season is Richie James with 14 grabs for $146, it's inexcusable. You're not going to be able to win many football games with this type of receiving core. I don't know if Will Fuller's the guy. I don't know who the guy is. Maybe it's Alex Bachman. I know a lot of you guys are big fans of him. You got to go do something. You have to do something at this wide receiver spot. You can't go into this game or games in the future if Toney and – look, you know who's got to step up? It's freaking Kadarius Toney. That's who. You spent a first-round pick on the guy. Frickin' play. Stop being a – just frickin' play. How about that? We'll ask you this question, though. Should the Giants sign Will Fuller? Should they do it? Type S for sign. Type P for pass. You got to frickin' – Kadarius Toney has to play. BX Mel, he is. Wan'Dale Robinson is supposed to be that guy, but he's hurt. What sucks with Wan'Dale is he never got hurt in college. Gets to the NFL and he gets hurt in the first quarter of action. Frickin' sucks. Blue City Empire, if we do move on from Danny Jones, should they take a look at Anthony Richardson? I still think he's a couple of years away. He looked good in that one game, but since then, he's raw. He's got talent, no doubt about it. But, nah. All righty. We're about to bounce on out of here. Got to go do a Giant Knicks show here in a second. I appreciate everybody that's made New York Giants now a part of their day today. Hit me up on Twitter, @MarshallGreen_. Everybody that follows me the rest of the day, I'll give you a follow back. Just hit me up on Twitter, @MarshallGreen_. And if you haven't yet, hit that big red button, subscribe. We're going to continue to put out videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors. This is a channel to be. We're the fastest growing Giants channel out there. So, be a part of the movement. The bandwagon is not full behind us. You can jump on in. Subscribe, hit that big red button.